Listen, congratulations
Thank you.
on this. If you don't mind me going back, because, that first film, I lost count of how many times I kind of watched that. What are your memories of that first film, as film fans, first of all?
Yeah. I was in high school when I saw it for the first time. I know. I watched it in the theater with my little sister and my dad. And I had seen the trailer for it and didn't really realize it was like a musical at all. And then, the music blew me away. Like, it's just so memorable and iconic. And Moana's a legend, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was in middle school when it came out. But, I mean, wow. I don't remember being in the theater because I think I was a little younger, but I remember loving the music. Yeah. I mean, I was the Disney age. I was the target audience, so.
But I think that's the thing with it. I mean, I've got kids, and we watched it over and over again, and the music is such a part of the journey that you go on with the film, with the characters, with the emotion, with the story. So talk to me about how Moana 2 became the opportunity for you guys to write the songs for it. How did that present itself to you?
It really started because we had a meeting with this guy named Tom, and it wasn't about anything in particular. It was just like, oh, let's get to know each other. And at the end, he was like, I might have a project in mind for you. And that was 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And then like a year later, so we didn't hear anything. We just kind of forgot about it.
A year?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then a year later, we got an email that said they were making a Moana sequel, and would we want to speak to the creative team? And of course, we said yes.
Wow.
And we made a case for us writing the songs because, just like Moana, we are two young women trying to find our place in this world. And we got the job.
Were you intrigued at all about why they'd come to you, why they'd given you this opportunity, what it was specifically about parts of your work or anything specific that they were like, these are the guys we need, in terms of...
Well, I remember Matt was telling us there were a few songs that he just brought up the other day, and he was like, the song that we wrote called Little Infinity. He was like, that's when I knew, because like the emotion that you're able to tap into in that song was like so deep and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't need to repeat his words, but like, he was like, that's when we were like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom says the fact that we were able to take something like Bridgerton and song spot ourselves and like create this whole kind of musical sonic world out of nothing gave him the confidence. So thanks, guys.
But in terms of that, how did this relationship start, and what is the working relationship? Does it change project song by song, or do you have a kind of like a rhythm that you, in terms of creating and work, and writing songs?
Yeah, we work very well together. You can never find us quibbling. We have a great working relationship. I
think it's because we started and we met and became friends.
First.
And kind of like bonded.
Yeah.
Because we didn't go to college. I was 18, she was 21.
Yeah.
We were just kind of trying to figure our life out.
Wow.
And we're like, oh my God, you get it. Yeah. And that set up like a really nice working dynamic, because most of the time I feel like I've been in rooms with like people that are much older than me, people that are much more established, bunch of guys, like it's a different power dynamic.
Yeah. And
like you're always kind of afraid that you're being overbearing or pushy or standing up for your ideas too much, you're talking over people, or like, how you're being disrespectful or whatever. But there was none of that, because we were just
girls.
We're just girls.
Just girls having fun writing songs together.
And was it kind of immediate in terms of that kind of in terms of the making and the creating and the ideas and
Moana 2 specifically?
Just
in general?
Before that, in terms of finding that kind of rhythm with each other.
Like it was instantaneous. Like we met and wrote that song, and then we were like, wait, what's going on? Like neither of us had written musical theater before we met. And like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
We loved theater. She grew up in theater. She performed a ton. And my mom performed in theater, and she like made sure I had a great theater education. So we were both big admirers of theater, but we'd never written it.
Yeah.
Is it a different, what's the starting point? Like with Moana 2, you have that meeting a year later, they're going, so are you up for it? What's the kind of starting point then for you? Because I imagine that this is a this is a whole new world for you. You know,
No pun intended.
that's all I'm going to do for the next one. It's just like drop in.
Drop in, babe.
Let's just do like song bingo. But was it completely new, or did you just approach it as it's just another project?
I mean, it was completely new. It's a like animation is
Yeah.
a whole different beast.
Yeah.
It takes so long.
Like same but different. It's
Yeah.
obviously still telling story through song. It's putting yourselves in the shoes of another person and honoring their view on the world. But like you said, animation is a much more like constantly evolving process. It takes on so many different lives before it ends up like on a screen near you. And the songs have to grow with it because you can't animate before you write. And so the writing of the songs doesn't take that long. It's just all of the rejiggering and restructuring and lyric rewriting and edits and revisions and scrap that. Let's try a different song. Oh, let's bring it back. Just kidding. That was better. You know, it's a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, but it starts with a big creative team and a big creative conversation.
Yeah, and a script.
What was the first song you wrote?
A song that's no longer in the movie.
But to be released soon.
Maybe.
Maybe
We love
so.
that song. It has a special place in our heart.
Maybe
it was
Moana
in
3.
Maybe. It was in the movie for like over 2 years. But the story had changed so much that by the time we had, one of the later screenings, we were like, doesn't make sense anymore. So that's when Beyond was put there. And that worked out well because it's my favorite song. So
Well, that's really interesting because it's that thing as songwriters and composers, when you're creating music for film, it's got to facilitate the story, that you've kind of almost got to relinquish an element of, I don't know, you're not your creativity because you're obviously doing it your best that you possibly can, but it's for a bigger purpose, isn't it? In a way?
To serve a story.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely creates a sort of box that you have to create in,
Yeah.
which I think as a creative is a really wonderful experience. It like pushes you to write things that you probably never would have written otherwise.
honestly, it kind of reminds me of like Bach writing a fugue because there are so many rules and so many structural elements there and how creative you can be within that structure.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously has created some amazing things that have stood the test of time, and I feel like something like this is kind of similar in that there's a lot of structure, there's a lot of boxes you have to check off, but, it's usually kind of surprising how creative you can be in that, outside that comfort zone.
And you've also got to take on board, the score, because it's got to fit with that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a synergy between that as well, and also who's performing the song,
Right.
Which character, and also Moana's a bit older as well, so we've got to.
That was really important for
Was
us.
it?
Yeah. To, have her evolve because 16 to 19, as
Big
we
leap.
know, not that long ago, it's a huge difference. You're an
Yeah.
entirely different person. And she, Beyond and How Far I'll Go are kind of in similar places in the movie where, she's about to leave.
Yeah.
But in the first one, she could not get away fast enough. She was unhappy with her life. She needed to go out on the sea and find herself. And Beyond, she's about to leave again, but she has everything she's ever wanted. She's happy. She feels at peace. She has like this beautiful equilibrium in a life that she worked so hard for in the first movie.
Yeah.
And now she's being asked to give it all up, go on this crazy journey that no one's ever done successfully before, like sacrifice her life, maybe others, never see her sister again. Like, that's terrifying. That's a big ask. And I think showing the growth in her and the fact that she can be vulnerable and brave
Yeah.
is important. So
I think the little sister might be the cutest thing I have seen on television, in film, in like forever.
I agree.
know.
She's
I
so
want to
cute.
I need a spin-off.
I know. I feel like every screen was like, we need more Samaya.
He's so precious.
Yeah, but then writing for new characters as well. Like Get Lost, the track Get Lost,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Talk to me like a little bit about that specifically. And this is someone new that we as film fans are coming in to discover. And the song is got to tell us something about her that we haven't seen yet, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, well, her song was inspired actually by a conversation we had with a real life wayfinder who's currently a wayfinder, like goes
on a canoe, doing a journey in the middle of the ocean.
No way.
Yeah, it was so cool.
And she said something really magical, which is getting lost is the pathway to finding magic, and that inspired Get Lost.
Yeah, and it became kind of like one of Matangi's big messages or secret messages to Moana. I don't know. She's very elusive, and as a showman, she's a showgirl, and we wanted that to be in the song. And she just had such a larger than life personality that we needed to give her like a larger than life number. And so
she's a diva.
Is that a bit? Is that what it's like working on a Disney, musical film, where they just submerge you in the world? So they will take you and give you the access to places and people that are so important to getting the texture of the music right.
Yeah. Disney takes such care, especially because the culture is an absolute anchor for this film.
It's like the defining
And so they just provided us all the resources we ever could need. I mean, day one, they gave us a Moana Bible of 8 years of research, because they've been researching since 2016, even before that.
Yeah, and they had this Oceanic Cultural Trust, which was like a very big anchor on the development side of things. And that's how we got to talk to the real life wayfinders. And
Who even knew that was a real life thing?
It's a thing.
People did. It's like, these are fantasy worlds that Disney know they're actually real things.
They are.
That's amazing.
And it's funny, I always thought they made, has nothing to do with the culture, but Pua's tail wiggles like a dog, and I just thought they did that because it's cute. But I've now learned that Piglet's tails actually do wiggle like a dog when they're excited. They go, oh, it's so cute.
It's the detail.
It's the detail.
It's the detail.
No, but literally everything has meaning, from the way her hair is parted to like etchings on a side of a canoe that you don't even see for half a second. Like every frame. It's crazy.
What comes first with you? Is it lyrics, or is it melody, or is it both, or is
both?
Both. Yeah. It changes every time we write a song. Like one of us will come with like a chord progression or an idea, or like you sometimes just like produce out an idea, and then we'll just ping pong back and forth like a game of table tennis. Just
it changes every song. I feel like sometimes, like maybe more than not, we start with the musical idea, but sometimes we're hitting a wall and nothing's working, and then a concept is born, and then everything just changes because that's the new path to go on.
Yeah.
It's like writing for The Rock.
That was the most difficult song to write.
Yeah.
Why?
It took. There was a song that existed when it was a TV series, and when it was being turned into a film, that was like fully finished, and it was like a fully finished concept, and everyone had signed off on it.
Yep.
And then the story changed and evolved, and so it no longer really made sense, and the audience for that song changed. So we had to go back to square one, and we took a few swings that just didn't feel right. It needed to be like the perfect balance of old Maui and new Maui, because old Maui is all about himself. He's hilarious. He's a showman.
And new Maui's
still a little bit.
he's still Maui.
He's still Maui. Exactly, that's the thing. Like, we had to have that balance.
That was a possibility.
Yeah. But he's buoying Moana in this song, and in the first film, he's like, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
It either felt too old Maui, or like a horrible, cringy motivational speech you can find on YouTube. And it was like nothing felt right. But then, again, we put ourselves in Moana's shoes, and it's like, okay, when we feel like the world is ending, when we feel like why does anyone believe in us? Whatever. What makes me feel better is not someone going, you got it, girl. Like, go on, Moana, you can do it. It's like...
tough love.
Moana... Yeah. This gigantic, all-powerful, all-knowing storm god is sending all of his, monsters lackeys after you. He's spending so much energy and his time trying to stop you from reaching this island. Obviously, he believes you can do it, so why don't you?
Yeah.
And that's how Chihu was born.
Do
you collaborate with... do you consult with The Rock about it? Or, how does it work with him specifically? Because,
it's his... he is Maui.
Yeah.
We wrote it with him in mind.
Yeah.
And then...
the Oceanic Cultural Trust had to say. Because, using Chihu.
Yeah.
It's a very, very big part
was that
of
a big deal?
They loved it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
loved it. But it is like a cultural war cry, basically.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we wrote it with him in mind, and we definitely wanted him to be excited to perform it.
Yeah.
And then we got in the studio with him, and, you know, he had ideas of his own about, you know, the delivery. And we wanted that feedback because,
Yeah.
you know, it was a give and a take.
But we did play it for him before it was like, all right, we're going to go and record it. Because if he didn't feel connected to it, if he didn't, you know,
Want to sing it.
want to sing it,
Yeah.
he's not going to sing it. So thankfully he loved it.
Yeah.
So
Who sings it? Who sings the version that he hears?
Me.
Is that weird? Is that an exciting thing when you know, when you write a song, but you've got to hand it over to someone else, and it's their interpretation of how they deliver it and how they perform it?
Yeah.
Is that a nice kind of part of what you do?
It's the best.
it's so fun.
It's so much fun because, like, I can do the best I can to step into Dwayne the Rock shoes. You know what I mean? And like,
I need like a foot and about like 200 pounds of muscle.
correct. But like, it doesn't come to life until he, you know, steps on the mic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think watching music that you write come to life before your very eyes is the best part of this.
Yeah.
You know?
And did you collaborate with Mark and Oppetai as well? You know, in terms of making sure that there was synergy, you know, between
Yeah.
those, your world and their world, because it's seamless in the film. It's
Oh,
so
love it.
beautiful.
Yeah, no, Oppetai is a genius. So is Mark. And again, we were fans of the first movie, so getting to work with them and hearing them also bring this music to life
Yeah.
was like,
pinch me
hold my
moments.
tears.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, getting to see them bring like the opening number to life with the villagers and seeing like how they stack harmonies, and they just do it on demand. Like,
Yeah.
they see music in a completely different way than we do, and like that's such a beautiful thing to get to
Yeah.
collaborate with them.
This world has helped kind of not create but support some amazing songwriting talent over the years. You know, when you think about those kind of, and a lot of the time it's duos, you know, in terms of that great working partnership as well. This is very much the start of, you know, what could potentially be an extraordinary bigger career than you already have. Are you excited about what something like being part of Moana 2 can do for you, and the opportunities it's going to kind of present to you for the next chapter?
I mean, of course. Like, we love doing this. I want to do it forever, especially with you.
Yeah,
And I just hope that we never get to stop doing this. So if this opens the door to more things like this, I'll be happy.
Hallelujah.
What's on the wish list?
We love the stage, so we're working on a couple of stage shows right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Disney, if you want to make an original musical, it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that foot's in the door, so you're in the perfect position.
I'm going to say it really quietly, so it can't be
Oh, I asked Tom McDougall, the guy who gave us the job, I was like, so what's next? And he goes, I don't know, we'll find something. So,
Great, that's a good sign.
yeah.
Well, listen, I think that it's such a beautiful way to step back into this world and these characters, and you've done a fantastic job. So
Thank you.
thanks so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
Great to chat to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
What's your favorite song?
Mhm.
What's your favorite song in the movie?
I really like. I mean, I love that you've incorporated a little bit of a mini Maui rap. You know what I mean? And so it just gives you that rhythm from that
Yep.
final one as well. But
It is a sequel, after all. Yeah.
I love Get Lost. I love the kind of message behind that as well.
Me
And
too.
I feel I mean all of it. I'm not as familiar, obviously, because I've only seen it once with
Right.
as with it, but they stay with you. You know, the messages as well as the
People
as
like what
the-
they know, and so
Yeah.
soon you'll know it.
yeah, exactly. It's great to chat to you.
Thank
Thank
you.
so much.
Likewise.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a good-